Merlin, network magic, 3D animations. Wow, that sounds exciting, and it's quite the build-up. But yeah, it's true and it's possible. You're not going to believe this. And I've only been playing with this a couple days. I am not claiming to be an expert. I have followed some tutorials, and I have some magical things working. And it's as well as playing around by myself. But let's get the whiteboard out. So this is pretty incredible stuff. We're going to take our pyATS, which gives us the JSON, right? Structured data. That is the key to everything here. And then that JSON, can we turn it into 3D? Yes, we can. We can do things like maybe cylinder style three-dimensional graphing. We can do 3D text from the values with something called Blender as well as Python. So this Blender is free, open source, like everything else I explore and promote. And Python, you're going to need to know some Python to plug into this world of Blender. The other thing I want to mention, the pyATS that we get back, it needs to be, I'm going to say, normalized for the environment. Normalized. Just like the Elastic videos, just like some of the other upstream systems, chat bots, voice bots, MP3 files, etc. The JSON needs to be massaged a little bit to bring it into the Blender space. So we're going to use Jinja 2. No secret there if you've been following along. I'm going to make a simple Jinja 2 template, normalize the JavaScript object notation, bring it into the Blender space, and try to animate it. So let me show you a couple. I'm going to jump to a few YouTube videos that I've already made to show you where I started with this tool. And I'm also going to plug my YouTube channel real quick while I'm here. If you go to, I can send you the link, but I have a whole channel of videos, and I'm going to be adding this to a playlist. I'm going to start a new playlist if I don't already have one called Blender. But in my videos, I'm going to show you, this is my hello world with Blender. And it's just a three-dimensional, you might have missed it, it happened so fast, where the question mark changes to the actual version. Now that's real. That's really pulling data and replacing the version. And then I made another one, which was a little bit more me playing with the camera. So it's about a minute long. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but towards the end you can see I really start to, zoom and flip and put it on an angle where we can really show off the 3 dimensions of Blender. So I'm going to also, while I'm in YouTube or while I'm at Google, I'm going to show you the tutorial that I've been following, and it's very easy. If you just do Blender JSON, one of the first videos you're going to get is this visualize real-world JSON in data in Blender.
The new Grand Big Mac. More beef, more sauce, more napkins required.
Anyhow, on another ad. Well, they've ruined the internet, haven't they? Here we go. So this guy's videos, he's got 14,000 views on this.
In this video series, I will show you how you
pretty
can
new
real-life
too,
JSON format
and he has almost
data
40,000
to create
subscribers.
Awesome graphics.
So this is the video I've been following along, and now let's jump into Blender. I'll come back to this JavaScript here, but this is the Blender world, and we start with a cube usually. I've made it a cylinder, and I have it split into multiple panes. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's like GIMP, but like a superhuman version of GIMP. It's insane. If you can imagine GIMP having a third dimension to deal with, right? That's what we have here. So there's right, if we push the mouse in the middle, we can change our camera, our viewpoint. We can also use the hand to move around, etc. Now what I've had to do is, if you go to, I'm going to show you this because it's not necessarily clear in the video maybe, but you have to go to animation nodes and download this animation nodes and install it as an extension or an add-on here under Edit Preferences, Add-ons. You're going to say install and pick the zip file for that you download. And that gives you, in the drop-down window, it gives you this animation nodes selection. and that is this tree logic here that we're going to step through. I have the Python over here. Again, this is in the text editor, and we save it as a Py file. And then this is our layout view. And you're going to see what I've done is connected this JSON here, which is run through a Jinja 2 template. I'm going to show you that real quick. So this is, again, my standard pyATS. I learn interface, and then I run it through my Jinja 2 template and save the file. And the Jinja 2 template is very simple. It is just the fields, but put into these array-style square brackets for JSON. All right. So that's how and then I put it up on a microservice. And then in my Python here, I'm just using request.get. Go get that JSON from the microservice. Save it as interface counters from the raw.json. And then I print it just to see that it's working and see what data I'm working with. Well, the idea is that for each of those fields that I've selected, input broadcast, multicast, unicast, total input, input rate, output rate, the only things we can get from the management interface, I'd like to draw a cylinder for each one of them. So let me zoom into this, and I'll show you what we've had to do here. And this is all from the demo. Well, we need a script, and this is where it all starts. This is your anchor point between this window here and this window here. So make sure, and also you'll notice that the script here, management 0 counters, matches the name, management underscore counters. And that's how we connect them. Now, there's some things that, I'm not going to walk you through the whole thing, but we want to instantiate objects, so instantiate cylinders in a loop from that for each one of those fields. Then further down here, I want to go get the index 1, meaning the actual value from each of those counters, change it into a float, and make it the z-axis, meaning to indicate the height of the cylinder based on the data in the field. All right, so I'm going to uncomment this out. Oh, and the other thing I'm going to do is bring up, in Windows, you have to bring up toggle system console separately. Where did it go? Do I already have it up? No, okay, there it is. So here's the system console. And right, nothing's happening when I run this. So now let me uncomment my code and run it. And I'm just going to show you that, right, what I get is the, let me try to do it this way. And you can see that when I hit run there, it refreshes this data set. Right, like that. Okay, so now how do we get it into the animation? Well, I'm just going to disconnect one, and there. Okay, so that's a good one to disconnect. So now we have a cylinder for each one of the values, and now I'm going to connect it in to set that z-axis, and there we go. Now the z-axis is the values. Now I believe 1, like the number 1, equals a meter. So I'm going to have to maybe add a math node. That's the next step, is to adjust the math node. Now I also, to show you that this works and that it's real, I had a big running ping going. That's why they're off the chart. Let's restart the Docker container. We're going to restart the Docker container without any running pings running. Then we're going to disconnect or refresh the code. And these cylinders should all collapse because I'm not running the ping anymore. Right? The ping has been stopped. So what we're going to see is the learned interface is happening, and it's going to run it through the Jinja 2 template and then promote it as a microservice with Apache. And now if I refresh the screen, let's keep an eye on these numbers, like that one there. Oh, I didn't refresh the counters. Hang on. Some of them should go down though, like the input rate is at 0. Let's see the impact of that. So how do I just get it to run again? I haven't quite figured that out without disconnecting something. I wonder if I just, there. So look, it works. the input rate has collapsed to 0 because I'm not running pings anymore. Is that not incredible? A 3D world? Anyway, and I can turn that into an animation or see how I can tie that into the cron job and how to make that for loop always run and the meters just grow. And I'm not even halfway through the tutorial. I just wanted to get this out there to show you what I've been working on. So go download Blender. I'm going to make these Blender files open source. The Python files open source. The Docker containers open source. In theory, all you need to do is install Blender, load in my files, connect to the DevNet sandbox. Then you can start playing with these three-dimensional representations of network state. All right, cool. Lots more to come. Stay safe, everybody.